Every Green Arrow story assumes one thing: Oliver Queen is alive. Absolute Green Arrow removes that assumption on page 1. Oliver Queen is dead before the book begins. There is no training sequence, no billionaire vigilante, no quiver on his back. Instead, there is a corpse, a killer, and a signature, a green arrow left in each murdered billionaire. The hero's symbol has become the murder weapon. That inversion is the entire series. Issue 1 opens as crime fiction, not cape fiction. Pornsak Pichetchote frames the book as an urban horror murder mystery, knives out tension with slasher dread. The first victim is not a street criminal. It is a billionaire, killed with precision, staged with theatrical cruelty, and marked with a green arrow that everyone in the city recognizes as Oliver Queen's icon. The police see a serial pattern. The public sees a message. Dinah Lance sees something personal. The killer does not hide the weapon. They display it. Each body is a billboard accusing the class Oliver Queen once pretended to hunt in other continuities. Wealthy predators who believe their money made them untouchable. Here, wealth makes them targets. The arrow says, "I know what you are, and I will leave your symbol on your chest so the world knows who you were before you died." It is vicious, theatrical, and deliberately tied to Green Arrow mythology. Dinah Lance leads the investigation. In mainstream continuity, she is Black Canary, partner, fighter, icon. In this absolute story, she is cast first as the investigator with the deepest personal stake. Oliver is not a legend she chases from rooftops. He is the dead man whose absence defines the case. Every arrow in a billionaire's chest asks a question Dinah cannot ignore. Who hated Oliver enough to weaponize his legacy? And who hates the rich enough to keep killing after he is gone? The victims are not random. They are billionaires, tech founders, old money dynasties, predators who bought silence. The book uses class the way horror uses isolation. It narrows the suspect pool and widens the fear. Anyone in that income bracket is now a potential next body. Albuquerque draws the crime scenes like crime scenes, not superhero punch-ups. Shadows swallow faces. Blood reads as real. The absolute universe stripped Batman of his fortune. Green Arrow strips Oliver of his life and asks what happens to the myth when only the arrow remains. Pichetchote's horror pedigree matters on the page. The book does not rush to costumes and code names. It lets silence build. Footsteps in parking garages. Security systems failing too late. Dinah following clues that keep pointing back to people who had access to Oliver's life. His business partners, his enemies, his hidden debts. The reader is meant to feel uneasy in mundane spaces. That is the Pichetchote promise. The monster is not waiting in a lair. The monster is already inside the building. Raphael Albuquerque's art sells the genre shift. His lines are sharp and his shadows are hungry. Characters move like people who know violence is real, not like models posing for splash pages. When Dinah enters a room, the room feels too small. When the killer strikes, the strike feels too fast to choreograph. The preview pages DC released for issue 1 are not action showcases. They are mood pieces, proof that this Green Arrow is a horror comic wearing a quiver. The central mystery is not only who kills billionaires now. It is who killed Oliver Queen before the story started. Dinah's investigation keeps circling his final days, debts, enemies, a life that looked public but hid compartments. Oliver's death is not a prologue detail. It is the fuse. If the killer started with him, the billionaire spree may be continuation, not origin. If someone else murdered Oliver, the arrow signature might be imitation, tribute, or accusation. By the end of issue 1, the pattern is undeniable. The victims share more than wealth. They share access, boardrooms, shell companies, deals Oliver Queen touched or condemned. Dinah begins to see a network, not a random slasher. Someone is mapping the elite the way Oliver once claimed to map corruption. The Green Arrow is not chaos. It is cartography. Each kill marks another coordinate on a map only the killer can read. Issue 2 raises the temperature. The press dubs the murderer the Longbow Killer. The city panics. Dinah's resources shrink as political pressure mounts. Billionaires hire private armies. Politicians demand arrests, and Dinah's access to evidence narrows. The killer responds by accelerating the schedule. What looked like weeks between bodies becomes days. The horror structure shifts from whodunit to race against time. Dinah follows a lead that is too clean. Horror mystery rules apply. When a clue answers too fast, it was planted. She walks into a scene staged for her, not to kill her yet, but to show her the killer knows her rhythms, her contacts, her history with Oliver. The Longbow Killer is not only murdering billionaires. They are communicating with Dinah in bodies and arrows. The message, you are not hunting me. I am inviting you. Issue 2 expands the cast of plausible killers. Business partners who inherited Oliver's contracts. Security contractors who failed to protect him. Activists who called him a fraud. Other billionaires who feared exposure. Dinah interviews them in rooms that feel like interrogations and confessions at once. Everyone had a reason. No one has an alibi that feels solid. The book keeps you guessing by making every suspect believable, which is exactly how Eat the Rich horror should work. Issue 3 traps Dinah between institutional pressure and personal obsession. The police want a scapegoat. The billionaires want a bodyguard industry boom. The press wants a name. Dinah wants the truth about Oliver. Those goals collide when a third kill lands closer to her own circle, not a stranger's penthouse, but a neighborhood she knows. The killer is shrinking the distance between the case and her life. The forensic through-line in Issue 3 is cruel in the best way. The arrow craftsmanship matches equipment from Oliver's private workshop. Either the killer stole his gear, or someone who loved him is involved, or Oliver prepared kills before he died. Each interpretation wrecks Dinah differently. The book refuses a clean superhero answer. It keeps forcing her to treat the case like real police work, while the genre keeps insisting the answer will be monstrous. The social story running under the murders is a city reacting to predatory wealth being preyed upon. Billionaires fund mercenaries. Politicians pass emergency powers. Ordinary people watch rich neighbors hide behind walls and feel complicated relief. Absolute Green Arrow uses that unrest the way classic horror uses a storm outside the house, pressure mounting while the detective works inside. The class politics are not a lecture. They are the weather the killer hunts in. Issue 3's emotional climax is Dinah realizing she cannot separate the serial case from her grief. Oliver's death is not backstory she can compartmentalize. It is the lens distorting every interview, every clue, every suspect. The book asks whether Dinah is solving the Longbow Killer or avenging Oliver, and whether those missions are the same thing. That ambiguity is the character engine Pichetshot brought from horror. The protagonist might already be compromised. The killer's language remains consistent. Green arrows, billionaire victims, scenes staged for maximum public fear. But Issue 3 adds a new variable, a note, a symbol, or a location tied to Oliver's last known hours, depending on the published beat. The killer is no longer anonymous violence. They are a narrator continuing a story Oliver started. Dinah's job is to read that narration before the next chapter is written in blood. Issue 3 ends with the killer proving they can reach anyone Dinah tries to protect. The arrow is no longer only a class statement. It is correspondence. Dinah now knows the Longbow Killer is watching her investigation in real time, adjusting kills to contradict her theories, planting evidence to steer her towards suspects who are guilty of something but not this. The horror beat is control. Dinah is inside a story being authored faster than she can read it. The remaining issues must answer 3 questions the first 3 have sharpened. Who murdered Oliver Queen? Who is the Longbow Killer now? And can Dinah survive learning the answers are connected? The 6-issue format is tight, no 100-issue runway. Pichetshot and Albuquerque have been building toward a reveal, not a perpetual mystery. Every billionaire kill has been a chapter heading. The finale will decide whether Green Arrow's symbol can be reclaimed or whether it belongs to the dead and the damned. That is the complete story so far across Absolute Green Arrow issues 1 through 3. Oliver Queen died before the series began. A killer turned his arrow into a confession. Dinah Lance is hunting the Longbow Killer through the darkest corner of the Absolute universe. A horror mystery where the rich are prey and the hero never arrives. Subscribe to Dele Lore for issue for the moment it drops, and for the full Absolute Green Arrow breakdown when the 6-issue arc closes.